This is the first lesson that we see from God's design on marriage. You love the one you're with. You might have had other ideas. You might have thought that there was going to be somebody else, and now this is the one you're with. Listen, put it all in the past. There was a guy named Jacob in the Bible. Later on, and we'll discover him in Genesis. He thought this one woman was so great named Rachel. She was really beautiful. Well, beauty has a way of making men dumb. And he's like, I'm going to marry this woman. He works 7 years and he's going to marry Rachel. God had another thing in store. And after the wedding night, they were wearing veils back then, or she was wearing a veil. He marries this woman and finds out it wasn't the woman he wanted to marry. He wakes up in his tent the next morning and the sun rises and it turns up he's married to the woman's sister, Leah. Now, Leah, the Bible said, had bad eyes. But we understand that to mean that she was not as pleasant to the eye as her sister Rachel. And so God spoke. She's the one. Jacob didn't listen. He convinces the father, I'm going to work for 7 more years and then you'll give me the one I want. 7 years of hard labor. Now he's got 2 wives. The pretty one and the one he doesn't like so much. And he spends the rest of many years loving the one, despising, looking down upon the other. And we know how it ends. When dad has a love for 2 women, the kids feel it. It ends in murder, rape. And yet, at the end, God takes Rachel. It was her time. She went to heaven. And Jacob lived many years beyond that, and he was left with the wife that God gave him. And he comes to love her. It's love by faith. And in the end of his life, he tells his boys, listen, bury me with Leah. He chose to symbolize where his heart would lie, with the one who he at first didn't have eyes for. He couldn't see anything in her to be married to her, but God did. And after loving her by faith, in time, he could love her out of his own heart. It's like this. Think of it like this, gang. When you love the one you're with, you pour out God's love from your heart. And soon, your love will follow. You give them what you do have. You have God's love for them. And you just love that woman, you love that man with God's love every day, and pretty soon your heart will follow.